Is Marvel Rivals the hero shooter we needed?
The moon haunts you!
30 seconds. Double KO. That's free for extreme.
When the game burst onto the scene, player count surged and gaming sphere was suddenly talking about hero shooters again. But if you look past the popular IP characters, what does it actually do that is different, fun, and successful? We aren't talking about the obvious surface level differences here. Third person perspective, team up abilities, and the breakable environments. Other than that, it's the same objective based gameplay with familiar structures like capture the point and push the payload. So is it really banking entirely on Marvel IP? Or is the core gameplay loop actually good? Looking at it under the hood, the balancing is genuinely rough. Some characters are very oppressive, and a good player running an inherently OP character like Namor or Black Panther can completely annihilate a team. Even though you can argue for a skill expression of characters like Spider Man and Psylocke, map designs are fine with okayish environments, and the roster standouts like Moon Knight bring a unique flavor. Team compositions are overwhelmingly dependent on healers. Healers function as the true core of the team even more than the tanks. A healer can single handedly make or break the match. The visual noise trade off. Teamfights are difficult to parse. Unless you play day in, day out, you're essentially guessing who to target through an immense amount of visual clutter. It isn't bad. The art style is wonderful and visually pleasing, of course. But it is an unfixable double edged sword inherent to the design. To really understand why the game holds your attention despite the friction points, we have to look at how it feels to actually play match to match. While the movement and gunplay aren't as quite as buttery smooth or surgically precise as Overwatch, the game compensates with a distinct psychological hook. When you get outplayed consistently by an opponent, it doesn't make you want to close the game in frustration. It triggers that rare competitive itch to adapt, log back in, and figure out how to outplay them right back. That specific feedback loop is missing from a lot of modern shooters, where matches feel sterile and predetermined. Add in a team up system acting as a genuine tactical twist, and the breakable buildings adding verticality and chaos to the skirmishes, and you realize the skeleton is doing its job. It's simple and straightforward. You grab a character, learn their kit, and you're ready to roll. This brings us back to the broader industry landscape. For years, developers watched the hero shooter boom and tried to chase it by overcomplicating things, forcing hero mechanics into awkward genre blends, battle royales, or bloated live service models that lost the plot entirely. Marvel Rivals did the opposite. They looked at what made the classic formula work, shifted the perspective to third person, which is virtually non existent for mainstream hero shooters on large scale, and kept the framework clean. Sure, the competitive ceiling isn't quite as deep as games like Deadlock, and you can argue Overwatch still holds a higher mechanical ceiling. But Marvel Rivals didn't need to be hyper hardcore tournament grinder. Instead, it became the ultimate entry point, a game where casual players can jump in, have a blast, full of crazy cinematic plays, while still offering enough depth for the competitive players to sink their teeth in. So, to answer the question, was it really the hero shooter we needed? Yes, it was. Beyond the clear player numbers, this is the hero shooter that sparked a newly gained interest in the genre. It pushed other developers to try harder, prompting updates into games like Overwatch that ultimately gained it more players and breathed life back into the stagnant ecosystem. It is in no shape and form a genre defining title like Valorant, Apex, or the original Overwatch, which launched entirely new industry trends. But it was the missing piece. While not perfect, it very nicely bridges the gap between casual and competitive players, proving that sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to change the lens, keep it simple, and execute.